going to teach you so much about mature makeup. You're going to leave feeling really excited to try new things with your makeup and also discover new amazing products. Radiance Booster. When we can make our face look radiant without loads of obvious makeup, that's essentially what we want to do. When you add a little bit of radiance under your eye, it's certainly not going to cover the dark circles, but what it is going to do is going to bounce the light away and off and up. This is a medium to full coverage foundation, but it's one of the few full coverage foundations that makes your skin look natural. Because it's a full coverage foundation, we're only going to put it in the areas we need it. Under our eye, don't tend to get much darkness here, so just put the colour there to start with. Around our nose, a little bit on your cheek, on your forehead, centre of the chin. Where you need that extra coverage, just start patting. And that patting motion is going to help add more coverage to the area you need it most. And where you need the least amount of coverage, you can just feather out. Now, my dog has just started snoring, so sorry if the camera picks that up as well. If you want to really go quick with your makeup, this is a fantastic brush. So if you're in a rush in the morning, you can literally just blob that foundation on and then blend it out with a brush like this. Leftovers, you want to put a little bit on your eyelids, take down any redness. What I'm going to show you next is how to give yourself a little bit of an eye lift. So, actually, before I do that, I'm going to show you a really clever way. So if you're someone that gets quite oily and you want to set your makeup, I personally don't think this needs really any powder at all because it kind of sets itself. But if you're someone that thinks, do you know what, I do like to wear a little bit of loose powder, let me show you how to wear loose powder in a way that always looks natural. So this powder, you want to find a powder as you get older that's very finely milled. So when you feel it in between your fingers, it will feel almost like nothing. This one is very, very good. There will be a link somewhere. So what you'll do is when you apply your loose powder is you always want to keep your cheeks, your cheekbones free of loose powder because we want the gleam, okay? And we only want to powder areas of our face that we want to matte down. So typically it will be the sides of our nose because some of us wear glasses. Leave this part of your nose free of any loose powder because the actual sheen that kind of naturally goes up. Oh, I can't speak properly. Essentially, you want the sheen on the top of your nose there, you want your sheen here, you want your sheen here. You don't really want a sheeny side nose, but this sheen helps give a gentle kind of, it just makes your foundation look really natural. If you were to totally matte it down, I think it gets rid of the glow, and you do want a little bit of a glow. Then I put a little bit of the loose powder just on my eyelids and into my crease. And then, to be honest, that's the only place I'd put my loose powder. If you do get a really oily forehead, you could put a little bit just in the centre. But I would leave all this free, because really, if you do get oily, it's only the T section, and you could put a little bit on your chin, but I wouldn't put loose powder anywhere else. I would leave it there. Okay, so next, what I'm going to do is I have very thin brows. I do have my eyebrows dyed, so they're slightly darker. Now you can see my natural hair colour is quite like a mousy brown, and then I've got highlights in. So when you choose an eyebrow pencil, you want to try and match it to your natural colour. So if you've gone grey or silver, then choose a very taupey colour or a blonde colour. If your hair is kind of dyed all blonde, but your natural colour is kind of like a mousy brown, I'm going to say always go for the mousy brown because that's your natural colour. If, for example, you've got very dark hair, I'm going to say don't ever choose black, just choose like a really dark brown because black can look too harsh. Okay, so this comes with a little spoolie on the end. The first thing you're going to do, let me come close so you can see, the first thing you're going to do is brush up your brow hair. Brush it all up, and then with the tip, you're just going to smooth down any areas that are going to stick up. And just by doing that, you're going to create a little bit of a lift. Can you see? Let me lift the camera up. Can you see? This has lifted the eye already. Ooh! Oh dear, sorry. That's what happens when I'm live. Just by using this spoolie. Right, let me just adjust my camera. That's it. Okay. So once we've created the shape, and you can see, look, I think that's already made this eye look more open. You're going to take the pencil, and really quick and easy way to fill your brows is pinky finger is your stabilizer. You're just going to add a line from the start of your brow to the arch. So I'm just strengthening up the very root of my brow hairs, okay? Then I'm going to get the spoolie end and I'm simply going to brush that colour up. And that is just going to blend that eyebrow colour into the rest of my brows. Then, to perfect the arch, oh gosh, it's all going wrong today, sorry. It's all going wrong. I've got dogs on my lap, I've got, you're going to take your pencil, once it's in, and now, so you've strengthened this area here. Okay, you've blended it in. Now you're going to take your pencil and you're going to go into the arch. And you're just going to go down to the tail. So the pencil is actually in your brows right now, like that, okay? Now, you can see that I'm quite gappy at the start of my brow here. Now, if you want to know where your brow should start, hold your pencil to the corner of your nose vertically. This will show you ideally where your brow should start. So I know I need to pencil in some hairs. So to pencil in the hairs, you're going to do this technique. You're kind of going to put a little bit of pressure at the base, and then you're going to flick up like that. Now this technique creates the look of the root and then kind of tapers up and feathers into nothing, just like a real hair. Much more natural than if you were just to do a line like that, okay? So it's kind of like pressure and flick, pressure and flick. That gives you the look of natural brow hairs. So you know where your brow is going to start, here. So let's just go and draw those little hairs in now. You don't need many. You don't want the start of your brow to look too blocky. If the start of your brow starts to look too dense and too blocky, that will give you the look of your brows being, you've penciled it in. And ideally, you want it to look like your natural brows. So you can see there where I've just created those little lines, just like that. Take the spoolie and just brush to blend. And that is that. Now, let me attempt to hold the camera up so you can see. Now, actually, excuse me, I don't have a mirror doing this. I'm just doing it in the phone, so it might not be that good, but you'll get the idea. Let's put a little bit more in there. Now, you can see already, compared to the brow I haven't worked, I've done very little, but I've used this pencil in a very specific way that I've taught you. And if you do the same, you will get the most natural brows ever. So let me quickly do this side. So brush up, always brush up, take the tip, smooth down any areas that are very like pokey-uppy, like that. Take your pinky finger, this is your stabilizer, draw it right, gosh, I wish I had a mirror, I've got no one here to help me, sorry. Usually I've got a friend here to say, oh, would you mind passing me a mirror, but I haven't got it, so bear with me. A line across, can you see? I'm doing a line right along the root to the arch. And then I'm smudging that line in and up with the spoolie. Almost disappears, can you see? Really natural. Then take your pencil into the arch. So you're now not drawing more along the root, you're actually going into the arch and you're just doing little feathery motions down to the tail, like this. And then brush to blend and then smooth down. Again, let's see where my brow should start. So I'm missing some hairs here. Let's draw those in with the little flick technique I taught you. Let's give them a little blend. Now I've done a hair there in the wrong place. Don't worry. Take your Q-tip. These Q-tips flat on one end, pointy on another. You can get them anywhere. Really good for makeup. Just neaten up. Okay. Done. And that frames your face, it frames your eyes. Then what we're next going to do is we're going to further enhance our eyes with some brown mascara. Now this brown mascara it's lengthening, but it's very natural. So if you like very natural lashes but you want your lashes to look long, this is a great brown mascara to use. Now it's dual ended, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the thick fat end first, then we're going to use this thin end to define. So the fat end makes your lashes look longer and the thin end defines. So firstly, I'm going to teach you a really easy way to apply your mascara. You can do this so quickly and it makes mascara foolproof. All you do is hold the wand and blink onto it. You don't move the wand, you just blink onto it. Now, the reason I'm teaching you this technique is because as we get older, our lashes don't seem to grow as neatly as they once did. They kind of, some are shorter, some are longer, and they kind of crisscross. So when you just blink onto your mascara like this, what it's doing, it's helping the lashes go into place, brushing them up. When you get your mascara and you go like this, all that does to mature lashes is kind of like make them all go crisscrossy and cloggy. So hold and blink, hold and blink. It is so, so easy. Now look how much longer my lashes look with this lovely brown mascara. Okay, let's do the bottom lashes. Now to do the bottom lashes, I'm going to use this thinner end. And to do my bottom lashes, I just almost stamp on the root and then just brush down. Stamp on the root like that. Can you see it's like a little stamp on the root? Now by stamping on the root, what this does, it creates the look of a lovely frame around your eyes, okay? Because even if you don't have a lot of lashes on your bottom lashes, you still want to get that frame around your eyes. So just kind of stamp on like that. Then I'm going to use this thinner side to just hold the wand vertically and just coat the upper lashes to add definition and further add length. Don't worry if you've got any smudges like I've got, because we're going to wait for that to dry and then we're going to take our Q-tip and simply just flick that off. Okay, let's do the other side where we're waiting for that to dry. So again, if you want to see anything what I'm using, there is links above or below. So hold the wand, blink onto it. Hold the wand, blink onto it. You don't have to do anything more than that. And this technique will work as well with your mascaras at home. This is a lovely brown mascara because some brown mascaras, they are natural, like this one's quite natural, but I love that it adds the length because I don't have particularly long lashes, as you would have seen, but this gives me really, really lovely length and doesn't take much time at all. Like some mascaras you need to like spend a lot of time on, don't you? But you don't on this. So bottom lashes, just stamp, like little stamping motions like that, and then brush down. Really, really easy. And then let's enhance the top lashes, vertical, and just brush up like so. Easy. I'm going to show you another little tip in a minute that you can do with your mascaras. So let's dry that, and then any smudges we can just wipe away. Give them a little wafty waft. Then, I wish I'd bought a mirror. Oh, you'll have to let me know if I've missed a bit, because you probably can see better than me. Oh dear. Right, okay. Now don't worry, like that was a stubborn bit there. Don't worry if you've knocked any of your foundation off, because you can just go back in and perfect. And actually sometimes when you add more layers to areas of your face that needs more coverage, it's the layers that not only add more coverage but help your foundation stay on much, much longer. I used to do so many bridal makeups, and I would always do lots of thin layers. I'd wait for a layer to dry and then add another layer, like a sandwiching effect. And it really does help the makeup stay on so much longer. So next little tip, you can do this with this mascara, but also any mascara. This is a tiny little brush here, very small. You're going to take a brush, take your mascara, like so. Then you are going to hold your lashes up to reveal your upper water lash line, and then you're going to stamp the colour right along the upper water line. And this is instantly going to make your lashes look fuller and thicker. Give a little, dry it before you ideally blink too much. It's kind of give the look of eyeliner without wearing eyeliner. And remember, gosh, is that grossing you out? I'm going too close, isn't it? Sorry. No one likes to see the eye up close like that, do they? It's so horrible. A little bit more on the corner. You don't have to do it right the way around, but I'm going to add a little bit more on the corner there, like so. Can you see? Probably not. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I think it just adds more definition. Oh, thank you. Whoever's given me little hearts, I really appreciate that. Because actually, it's hard when you're doing a live and you've got like 2 dogs in your lap and 2 dogs elsewhere and just no mirror. Let's add a little bit more. Okay. And now, oh, thank you, everyone. That's really kind. I really appreciate that. Especially when the world feels like it's all going a bit weird. Feels like at the moment people are going against each other, doesn't it? So it's really nice to share the love, share the kindness, share the gratitude, community. That's what it's all about. People coming together and enjoying themselves in hard times. And do you know what? If makeup just gives you a little bit of joy, lean into it. I do all the time. Like for me, putting my makeup on each morning is just my little saviour, because it just instantly makes me feel better, and I kind of like sort my head out before I start work. So we're not going to stop there with the eyes, because I think that looks quite natural, but what I am going to do is show you a lovely little thing I do with this eye pencil. It's a clarifying pencil, so I'm going to put a little bit under my brow bone here, because when we lighten our brow bone just under where our arch is and then dab, this is going to further just open up our eye and make our eye look just brighter and more lifted, like so. Can you see? Very subtle. I think it looks really nice, very natural. And this is all about little tweaks you can do with your makeup that maybe take your makeup to the next level, but in a very natural way. Because when you add a bit of lift to your eyebrow and you pencil in your eyebrows, you'll be amazed. You don't need loads of fancy eyeshadow, you just need a couple of little techniques. Then what we are going to do is I'm just going to clean the nib of that pencil, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this just in the middle of the lower lash line, like so. Can you see how much that's opened up? I'm not going right the way round, because sometimes when you go right the way round with a clarifying pencil, it can look too fake. I'm just going in the middle like this, and all that's going to do is make the whites of my eyes look whiter, and it's going to open up my eyes. And I'm also going to put a little bit on the tear duct area here. Just smudge in. Thank you for bearing with me, because I realise a lot of people like all these like short hacks now, but I try and do them, but I like to teach and I like to explain why I'm doing things. And I've tried doing really short videos, but I can't get all the information in. So I do appreciate it. I do appreciate you watching. It really means a lot. So we've done our eyes. Now let's add in a bit more sculpting to our face, because we've used a fairly medium to full coverage foundation. And I always think that if you're going to make your skin look perfect, you want to add back in the dimension. Otherwise, it can look a bit too dull-like. So it's really important that you add in definition to give us back that kind of 3D look to our face. So I'm going to use a cream bronzer. This bronzer is very, very natural looking and it's cream. So it means, can you see it's quite sheeny? And this is lovely because it's going to work with your skin to keep that glow. Because we've got the nice glow from this, and then we're going to further enhance it with this. So let's take this brush. You could use your fingers, but I'm going to use a brush. I'll show you on the other side if you want to use your fingers with it. Take a brush and then go from the top of your ear, and you're just going to knock that colour down like that. And kind of this little ticky motion like this just gives you a lovely kind of addition to your cheekbones. Take it around the corner of your forehead, around your jawline, blend it down. Let's add a little bit more. I'm going to put a little bit on my cheeks now. All right, Bonbon, don't bark because I'm filming, Bubby. It's all right. There you go. A little bit down the side of the nose, the top of the nose. Then I'm going to take a smaller brush, this one, dab it into the bronzer, and then I'm simply going to sweep this into my socket. And this is going to really work lovely with this clarifying pencil, because you know we lightened our brow bone. By deepening it, I'm going to run a little bit underneath as well to just, can you see what a difference that's made? Still got that lovely glow. This keeps the glow. It really does keep the glow, so it doesn't look like you've got bronzer on. You know, no one would really know I've got a foundation on this. It just is going to look part of my face. So I did this side with a brush, so let me show you with your fingers. This is a great brush to own, but if you can't be bothered, I'll show you with your fingers. So I always use these two fingers, smile, and you're just going to massage up towards the top of your ear. So you're kind of working on the cheekbone up towards the top of the ear. This side might even go better. You don't always need brushes, you know. You can just use your fingers. Then I'll put a little bit around the side of my forehead, like so. You want to blend it in to where you've put your bronzer on your cheekbone. And then I'll take a little bit and do it on my jawline. This is just going to help strengthen the jawline. So I'm going to kind of take this right on the jawline bone and then blend down. And then I like to always finish by adding a little bit onto my apple of my cheek, because it just adds a nice bit of flush of colour. Then take my ring finger and I will just put it into my socket. Now, because this is a cream bronzer, you don't need to worry about being perfect with it, because it kind of just does the hard work for you. Now, what I am going to do now is at this point, I'm just going to take my hair down, because this is the point where I look at my face. I always put my hair down and think, right, God, let's sort it out. What else do I need? What else do I need on my face? Well, I need some colour. I need some colour on my lips. My lips are very, 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 very pale. And I think I need a touch more bronze on my cheeks, just to add a little bit of juicy. And I'm going to give myself even more of a glow. So I'm going to put my Radiance Booster. And now, before I put it under my foundation, now I'm just going to put it on top. I'm going to put it on the top of my cheekbones. You see, it adds a beautiful glow. So I've already got a glow, but I want to up the glow. A little bit down my nose. Even going to put some over where I put the Clarify pencil. Can you see? It looks really glowy. And when you make your foundation look glowy, it's going to look like your skin, okay? Because sometimes foundation, this one isn't mattifying. It's kind of got a subtle glow to it. But I think when you amp up the glow to any foundation, especially on your cheekbones, it just looks like your skin, but better. All right, Bam Bam, don't worry. So the lipstick I'm going to show you is this one. This one is great because it's got this hyaluronic acid strip that goes right round the lipstick, like that. So it's kind of like a lipstick meets a lip balm. It's great for mature lips. It really feels balmy. It goes on very natural. Very, very natural. And it gives you a really nice nude lip colour. But it's not so nude that it's too pale that it makes you look insipid. And then I might just take a little bit and put on my cheekbones, just on the corner there, just to add a touch more definition. Now, if you can remember how I looked at the start of this video, what do we think? I probably would look at that and think, do I need a bit more coverage under my eyes? A touch maybe? So this is where, after doing my makeup, if you can be bothered, I would then take my foundation, just a touch, and I will add a little bit more under my eyes, just in the inner corner. And essentially, this is what I always do after I've done my makeup. I just reassess and think, oh, where do I need more coverage? You don't have to do this. It's just what I do. I'm so used to doing this as a makeup artist on a client, of just kind of looking at their face thinking, right, what else do they need? I might put a little bit more on the centre of my chin. Down my nose. Sometimes a really good tip for, you know, like throughout the day, if you just feel like your face needs that extra oomph, you can get your foundation or your concealer and just apply it down the centre of your nose, centre of your chin, under your eyes, in the middle of your forehead, and honestly blend it out. That gives you the look of fresh foundation, like you've just applied your foundation again. So, what do we think? Glowy, very natural looking. Everything that I've used you can see in the links above or below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. Let's continue to be lovely to each other and just lovely humans that we all are, because the world is going a bit funny right now. So let's spread the love. Bye everyone. Use code 20 for 20% off 3 mature makeup must-haves in my store, Beauty and the Boutique.